Black Beauty, Chapter 21, The Parting. I had now lived in this happy place for 3 years, but sad changes were about to come over us. We heard time to time that our mistress was ill. The doctor often at the house, and the master looked grave and anxious. Then we heard that she must leave her home at once and go up to a warm country for 2 or 3 years. The news fell upon the household like a tolling of a death bell. Everybody was sorry, but the master began directly making arrangements for the breaking up the establishment and leaving England. We used to hear it talked about in our stable. Indeed, nothing else was talked about. John went about his work silent and sad. Joe was scarcely whistled, and there was a great deal of coming from going. Ginger and I had full work. The first to go was Miss Jessie and Miss Flora with their governess. They came to bid us goodbye and hugged poor Merrylegs like an old friend, and so indeed he was. Then we heard that it had been arranged that us, Master had sold Ginger and me to his old friend, the Earl of for he thought we should have had a good place there. Merrylegs had given to the vicar, who was wanting a pony for Miss Blomfield, but it was on the condition that he should never be sold, and that Joe was engaged to take care of him and to help him in the house. So I thought that Merrylegs was well off. John, they offered us several good places, but he said he should wait a little and look round. The evening before they left, the master came into the stable and gave them to give some directions to give his horses the last pat. He seemed very low-spirited, I knew by his voice. I believe we horses can tell him more the voice that many men can. "Have you decided what to do, John?" he said. "I find you have not accepted any of those offers." "No, sir. I've made my mind up that if I could get a situation with my first-rate colt breaker and a horse trainer, it would be the right thing for me. Many young animals are frightened and spoiled by the wrong treatment, which means not to be if the right man took them in hand, which need not be if the right man took them in hand. I always get on well with horses, and if I could help some of them to a fair start, I should feel if I was doing some good. What do you think of it, sir?" "I don't know a man anywhere," said the master, "that I should think is so suitable for it as yourself. You understand horses. You understand horses, and somehow they understand you. Time you might set up for yourself, and I think not do better. I think you could not do better. If any way I can help you, write to me. I shall speak to my agent in London and leave your character with him." He asked John about his future and then thanked him for his long, faithful service, but that was too much for John. "Pray don't, sir. I can't bear it. You and my dear mistress have done so much for me that I can never repay it. But I shall never forget you, sir. Again, like yourself, we must keep up hope, sir." Master gave John his hand, but he must not speak. They both left the stable. The last sad day had come. The footman, heavy luggage had gone off the day before, and there was only master and mistress and her maid left. Ginger and I had brought the carriages up into the hall door for the last time. The servants brought out the cushions and rugs and many other things that, when we all were arranged, the master came down the steps carrying the mistress in his arms. I was on the side next to the horse. I could see all that went on. He placed her carefully in the carriage while the house servants stood round crying. Goodbye again, he said as he got in. We shall not forget any of you. Drive on, John. Joe jumped up and we trotted slowly through the park, through the village, where the people were standing at their doors to have a last look and say, God bless them. When we reached the railway station, I think the mistress walked from the carriage into the waiting room. I heard her say her own sweet voice, Goodbye, John. God bless you. I felt the rein twitch, but John made no answer. Perhaps he could not speak. As soon as Joe had taken things out of the carriage, John called them to stand by the horses while he went onto the platform. Poor Joe. He stood close up to our heads and hid his tears. Very soon the train came puffing up to the station. 2 or 3 minutes after the doors were slammed to, the guard whistled, the train gliding away, leaving behind only the clouds of white steam and some very heavy hearts. And then when they were outside, John came back. We shall never see her again, he said. Never. He took the reins, the mounted box, and drove slowly home with Joe. But it was not our home now.